it along here. Rasheed Walker, this was pretty funny. You guys know Anthony Belton kind of lost his mind in that preseason game the other day. If you'll remember, with all the penalties, the clip of him getting the personal foul out of bounds, Tim, I got to be honest with you, I didn't mind it. It was preseason, and I kind of enjoyed it. It was just like, it reminded me of Josh Sitton. Josh Sitton was one of those just absolute wildcats that, hey, you got to kind of harness him a little bit. And hearing the stories of the pranks and stuff that he, had in the locker room and just how straightforward he was the one who coined the phrase, or at least in the Packers locker room, said if you want to know what it's like to switch sides of the offensive line and block, go home and wipe your rear end with the opposite hand. That's our boy Josh Sitton. But Belton, I seen that personal foul and I went, kind of reminds me of Sitton right there. I like it. So with that being said, you can't have 5 penalties in the game. Now you had 5 penalties in the half, and then he cleaned it up in the second half. Well, as you can see here, John Miller from NBC 26 says Packers left tackle Rasheed Walker. He was basically talking about Anthony Belton, who had the 5 penalties. And listen what Rasheed had to say in terms of advice and how he helped our boy Anthony Belton there in the second half.
Everybody was saying something to him. I feel like he got the message. I think I just gave him a snack. So, kind of clear his mind, just throw him a snack.
What was the snack?
Clementine. I got a piece of my Clementine, like, man, just eat this Clementine, man. Just refocus. It's all good. And that's when he had a good second half.
So, Tim, the reason I'm showing this, first of all, pretty good laugh, right? Got to get a little pop out of the reporters there. I don't want to put words in your mouth. I know I mentioned it last night. I'm a little concerned, like, is Rasheed in a bad place? Like he's maybe a disgruntled. We know he got threw off the practice field, or he was forced to run a lap at that practice, this and that. Seemed like he's in a pretty good place right there. And it kind of comes across as one of those locker room guys where it's like, yeah, that's the dude when the bullets are flying, so to speak. You want somebody like that to kind of, hey, bring it. Joe Montana, Super Bowl, right? Everybody, they're getting ready to go down and get the game-winning drive for the 49ers back in the whatever it was, 80s, early 90s, whenever it was. And they said that everybody's like, kind of quiet in the huddle, and he looks over and goes, is that John Candy? John Candy was up in the stands. He's like, is that John Candy? And everybody was just like, this dude is all right. We're good, man. Let's go out.
Cool Joe, right? Yeah. You have to be. And you spoke about Sheed being made to run the lap. That was the day that Rob Westerman was gracious enough to give me a sideline pass, and it happened right in front of us. We watched that happen. Kind of a galvanizing moment on that practice field because we saw a lot of teammates run that lap with him. Now you fast forward to what we're seeing now. I wonder if that's where that came from. Like, hey man, chill out. Let's maybe if someone got a hold of Sheed a little sooner in that practice and had a conversation like that with him, maybe he's not running a lap in the first place, right? So maybe that was a leadership moment here. I think it's Rasheed Walker learning from experience that he dealt with when he was frustrated and doing a little extra at practice and a rep. Now he's seeing a rookie do it in a game. Hey man, let's chill out, right? It's good leadership. I think it kind of puts that your mind to rest a little bit, Clayton, like you said, because we were just having that conversation, yesterday or the day before that we weren't kind of sure where Sheed's head was at. Did he want to be here? Is he disgruntled or not? You look at this clip, he doesn't seem disgruntled to me at all.
Yeah. Greg Rice says we need that sound bite too. I agree. Stacy Mitchell says, I love it. I just gave him a snack. That's the one we need. I just gave him a snack. We got to have that. So for sure. So again, why am I bringing that up? Because I think that stuff's important, man. To kind of, it was just good to see Rasheed Walker in a good place there. And again, I think as it sits right now, Tim, he's going to be our starting left tackle. I believe that right now. That could change in the next week or so, right? But as it sits right now, that's the direction I would go. And then have Jordan Morgan ready to plug into left tackle next year when Rasheed Walker hits the market. I just don't know if there's enough place within the structure of how you want to model your roster for Rasheed to be on this team next year as well. But if you guys go over to our Patreon page, I put a minute 30 together of just clips from the Colts game there of Jordan Morgan and both pass blocking and run blocking. You guys want to go check it out. So I did a little write-up here, and you can check that out, Patreon.com/Packer Fan Total Access. And I've been adding to it a little bit as the week went along here, Tim. So just a quick refresher. Love that Rasheed, love that soundbite. And again, I think Rasheed Walker is a great pass blocker. I think his weak spot is run blocking. It's not that he's horrible at run blocking. It's just, that's the part of his game he needs to improve. And it seems like he's not improved it, in my opinion, like to where if he figures that out, he's going to be an all-pro tackle because he's that good at pass blocking, right? Yep. So I don't want people to take that the wrong way. However, this is just preseason. But Jordan Morgan against the starters there in Indy, right? Last week, or this past week, I should say, 88.2 pass blocking grade, right? So in 2 weeks of the preseason, 76.5, 74.6 overall PFF offensive grades. Pass blocking, 88, 88.2. The run blocking grabs my attention big time with a 66.9 and a 64.9 in those two games. 0 penalties, right? And then our buddy Baz put this tweet out I wanted to mention. Jordan Morgan stacking success at left tackle this preseason. Tim, he's got 61 snaps. He's given up 0 pressures, 0 sacks, 0 hits, 0 hurries, and 0 penalties. This is against starting defenders on the Jets and Colts. Have you? So
sounds like a guy that I wouldn't mind watching my 6. I don't know how you feel, Clay. And look at that profile pic too. What's not to love about that? Does that look like a guy who can't block? I mean, my goodness, that's a get off the bus guy, right? Like you say, Clayton.
Yeah, 6'6", 320.
Yeah, man. Let's go. Hey, anytime Jordan Morgan wants to, go out for a daddy soda or something, I'm buying for sure.
You sure you can afford that, Tim? You got good credit?
Hey, I got okay credit.
There you go. Coach Lynn in the chat said Morgan has answered the bell. And that's what it comes down to, right, Coach? It's like everything he's asked to do, the guy's done it. He's done it. And if you want to argue, well, he hasn't looked good at guard, I agree. But he played left tackle all through college. He played left tackle all through high school. Like, that's his position, right? He kicks over to left tackle. And what did I tell you the other day, Tim? I think I put a tweet out, and I said he shows patience. He doesn't panic. He's got great footwork, right? Well,
and you were talking about the hand technique too, setting that right arm almost to help with his base and his mobility.
Yeah, you can just tell it's not new to him. Obviously, it isn't. We all know that, but he's just like, wow, he looks extremely comfortable. Well, hearing Mark Tauscher talk about it, I think it was today. And what did he say? He didn't say patience, but what was the word he used? He used a specific word, but he basically picked up on the same thing. There's no panic at all. And he talked about how smooth he was in the transition of passing off those stunts, right? We showed where he passed off the end to the guard, kicked over and got the tackle off the stunt. Then we showed another clip where the end crashes in. He gets a quick punch on him, recognizes, just in a split second, they're blitzing a corner off the edge, pops back out, picks up the cat, washes him right around the quarterback. It's like, damn. And Rasheed Walker's a great pass blocker. And I know this is just 2 preseason games, but you see it now. You see what's going on there with the whole the coaches going, yeah, let's open up a competition. Again, as it sits right now, I want to be very clear. I would choose Rasheed to play left tackle and have Jordan Morgan play right guard. That would be my pick, okay? However, as we always say, Tim, sometimes injuries sort this thing out for us, right? 2 things. If Rasheed Walker is indeed hurt and it's significant and maybe he can't start the season as a starter, Jordan Morgan is going to kick in the left tackle. Well, if Jordan Morgan or if Rasheed Walker is good to go at left tackle, and God forbid Aaron Banks' back is bothering him to where he can't start week 1, you could put Jordan Morgan at left guard, and that's way more comfortable for him on the left side as opposed to right guard. So if that were the case, and let's just say, and I hope this doesn't happen, I have no reason to believe it will happen. I think it's all precautionary. But if Aaron Banks isn't starting week 1, and you got Rasheed Walker, Jordan Morgan, Elton Jenkins, and then at right guard Sean Ryan, right tackle Zach Tom, Anthony Belton as the backup swing tackle, what have you, I feel pretty darn good about that, man. I really, really do.
I agree with that. My head's spinning through that as you're saying that. It's like there's even a scenario if we have to kick Sean Ryan to center and Big E back to left guard or whatever. You don't necessarily feel like you're reinventing the wheel. These guys are familiar and have played in those spots. And then you couple that with the progress that we're seeing from Jordan Morgan. I agree, man. I feel good about our O-line. And I think Big Escalade's going to get it together. Like you said, he's got a role on this team. I believe that. Whether that's a backup or a swing tackle, however you want to look at it. He's going to play his way through these learning experiences and probably really progress really nicely. But yeah, I think the one outlier would be what if Sheed Walker is a go and he plays awesome like he did the last couple of seasons for us, and he steps it up in the run blocking. And now all of a sudden we've got to have this conversation because now we can't, look at the downside of Sheed, being a little bit subpar when it comes to the run blocking, at least grading out according to PFF. But I think it's writings on the wall. Jordan Morgan is probably the long-term plan at left tackle, right?
Yeah. I think he definitely is. I really do. And again, it's no knock on Sheed, but I think the way the Packers are looking at it is, hey, look, Jordan Morgan will be our left tackle of the future. You got him on the rookie contract, albeit a first-round contract, but still it's pennies on the dollar for what top tackles are making. If he goes out there and proves he's a top 32 tackle or, let's say a top 20 left tackle, man, it's money well spent. You let Rashid hit the market, he'll get paid pretty handsomely. You'll most likely get a comp pick out of him, potentially a third-round pick. So it essentially turns into a trade, right? Now, if there's a chance that teams are interested in Rashid Walker, you could try to get a little cute, hit him with the franchise tag, and then trade him, that type of thing, to get better compensation. I just don't know if teams will go for that, knowing that, okay, the Packers aren't going to keep him on the roster for a franchise tag. You know what I mean? Just feels that way. I could be wrong. They could announce a deal tomorrow that Rashid Walker's got an extension for $10 million per. I wouldn't be opposed to that. I'm just saying you can't pay him over $20 million when you're already paying Elton Jenkins, you're already paying Jordan Morgan, you're already paying Zach Tom, or not Jordan Morgan, but Elton Jenkins, Zach Tom. Those are your two that are already getting paid, pretty handsomely, along with Aaron Banks. Okay, so now if your plan is to move on from Elton Jenkins next year, you could re-sign Rashid this year for $20 million per. Move on from Elton next year. Now you got to find your center, whether that's Zach Tom or you want to re-sign Sean Ryan to a decent deal. That's obviously well below top money. That could be the case as well. So, but yeah, I agree, Coach. I think he has answered the bell, man. I think he's done everything we've asked him to do. So, with that being said, listen, it's important to have good blocking up front, Tim. And I know people are kind of aggravated with the whole Marshawn Lloyd situation, right? I'm not overly concerned about the Marshawn Lloyd thing. And the main reason is because of Emmanuel Wilson. Listen, I'm excited about Lloyd and to see what he can do when he's healthy. Don't get me wrong. He's probably going to start on IR, where you got to wait at least 4 weeks before you activate him. That's kind of the feeling I'm getting. But I think we've got one of, if not the best, backup running backs in the league. Look at this that went out from Carson Fowler. He posted a sideline or an end zone angle of this Emmanuel Wilson run from the preseason game the other day. Watch this physicality here from our boy Emmanuel Wilson. Look at this, guys. Watch him. He's going to give him a little hezzy and bang.
Bang.
Oh, dude. Let's go. And that's not the first time he has done that, man. That dude, I'm so excited to see him and Josh Jacobs in year 2 together. And again, his big weak spot was exactly what you've seen right here, catching the ball out of the backfield, right?
Yeah.
And just absolute truck stick there. I can't loop it for too long, but I want to get your take on this, man. Because again, we want an awesome offensive line, don't get me wrong, but this right here, this is going to help that offensive line more than they could imagine, man.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And to that point too, like I remember Emmanuel Wilson kind of struggling with pass pro and picking up the blocks sometimes too, as a rookie, and he's improved that drastically. And catching this ball out of the backfield, you love to see the yak yards, right? Kind of reminds me of a little bit of Tucker Kraft here, not being afraid to just lower the boom on the sideline. You love to see it, man. And of course, he gets up like nothing happened, right? I just love it.
I love what Coach Lynn says here, too. I love the burst after the catch. Watch this defender right here completely misjudge the speed and the burst right there, So, love it, man. I
also respect the fact that he didn't try to cut back in, which a lot of backs have a tendency to do when they're running up the sideline. You try to cut it back in towards the middle, and you don't necessarily pick up extra yards, and sometimes you get blown up and cough up the football. So great ball security there too in that clip of E. Wilson.
I believe there are several teams in the league, that Emmanuel Wilson will be running back one on.
Oh yeah,
I think that's not a hot take at all. I really do.
For sure.
So, completely